how do you set the mood for that?
That's one of the things that I actually also want more women to know, to embrace how they can make themselves aroused. Kasi iba-iba yan eh. Subjective yan eh. As well with me, sometimes I run myself a bath or I lock the doors. Just the simple notion of locking the doors, parang meron na siyang, okay, sexy time na to. Sexy time with myself. And that's one of the things that you need to learn to know yourself better. Find ways in which you can arouse yourself. I'm Rica Cruz, a licensed psychologist, a sex educator, and a sex and relationships therapist. For years, I've listened to women talk about their self-doubt, apprehensions, and insecurities in sex. And what I tell them is this: you're okay, you're normal, and your story is my story. I want us women to enjoy sex, to see sex as something good, and to own our womanhood in and out of the bedroom. Kaya dito sa Conservative Ako, kahit hindi naman talaga kami conservative, we'll talk about everything you've always wanted to know about sex and female pleasure to help each other embrace and unleash our inner sexy goddesses. In the last episode of Conservative Ako, we talked about women's experiences with masturbation. We also discussed the parts of the female genitalia. This time around, we'll talk about that all too familiar feeling associated with masturbation, which is guilt. How do you deal with it? This episode includes a how-to as well, so you can achieve as many orgasms and pleasure yourself as much as you want. I'm joined by my friend Christine and my producer, Trisha Aquino of PumaPodcast. I think we've already established that masturbation is really enjoyable. But what we can't get out, especially in our country and our culture, is how we feel, how most women feel about it. Kasi for a lot of women, it also comes with a lot of guilt. Kaya nga hindi natin siya pinag-uusapan, di ba? Have you ever felt guilty about masturbating?
I think it's both guilt and shame. As you grow up with what your parents are telling you about sex and what everyone else is telling you about your sexuality, it makes you seem like you're immoral. Diba? You're doing something immoral if you pleasure yourself. Especially since I've grown in a conservative Christian family. Everything that they're saying about sex is that it's bad, it's not something that females do, that's not something that's honoring your body. And so you just have to hide when you do it.
Mm-hmm. So aside from this, institutions telling us that masturbation is quote-unquote bad, we also have a lot of myths that surround masturbation.
Oo, meron pa nga nagsasabi na pag nag-masturbate ka raw, magiging hairy yung hands mo o kaya magkakaroon ng warts. Pwede ka rin daw maging sobrang pimply.
Meron din yung mabubulag, mabibingi. And for women, they say masturbation can make you infertile and even make one leg longer than the other. So how about you, Trisha? How do you deal with guilt?
I don't think I've dealt with it well. Galing din ako sa isang Catholic na background. So, ang sinubukan kong gawin nung nasa college na ako, nagbasa ako actually ng kung ano yung mga teachings ng mga theologians or mga perspectives nila on masturbation. So, merong mga iba na sobrang strict na, okay, it's a sin, ganyan. Tapos, meron namang mga iba na mas liberal na it's just the pagiging incomplete ng iyong sexual experience or masturbation means na hindi ka pa complete bilang isang sexual being. Parang hindi mo pa kasi nararating yung sex act or sexual intercourse dahil hindi ka pa kinakasal. So, nagma-masturbate ka muna. So, talagang napakaraming guilt surrounding it and it's so shrouded in secrecy and di mo pwedeng pag-usapan with just anyone.
Totoo, kasi kahit ako noon, during my first experiences with sex and masturbation, I would have this feeling after, di ba, after orgasm, sarap, di ba? Pero meron kang feeling after na gusto mo siyang isuka, na parang may mali kang ginawa, pero masarap lang naman talaga siya. So, hindi mo ma-reconcile, parang ano kaya yung maling ginawa ko? Eventually, nung nag-aaral na ako, I went into this field, doon ka na-realize na these are all teachings na binigay sa atin bata pa tayo hanggang pagtanda. Pwedeng tama, pwedeng mali, pero it's really up to you kung paano mo siya titignan. And the way I went around it is that tiningnan ko siya from a different perspective. Kasi sa totoo lang, masturbation comes with a lot of benefits. So I looked at it from a scientific lens, and I found out that there are a lot of good that you can get out of masturbation. Do you know some, Christine?
It helps you with your anxiety. So it relaxes you. I think that's why I'm doing it.
How about you, Trisha?
Well, sabi nila, it burns a lot of calories, so pwede mo nang i-skip yung gym.
It can also help you with menstrual cramps. Can boost your immune system. It can help you fall asleep. Can reduce your depression. And it can help you create a sense of well-being and increase your self-esteem. Sabi kasi nila, kapag nakahanap ka ng pleasure within your body, you will have a more positive body image. So, mas tatanggapin mo yung katawan mo. Hindi ka na mahihiya sa katawan mo. Masturbation is the most natural thing for us to do. It's normal. It's, again, the most common sexual activity. I did a study on this for my thesis, and I found out that a lot of women, even though it's surrounded with guilt and stigma and shame, still more than half of Filipino women masturbate at least once a month.
But that's a very low number, isn't it?
It is a low number compared to our Western counterparts kasi in can see studies, it's around 62%. It's also a low number compared to men, syempre. Who I think mga 93% of men masturbate talaga. They masturbate more frequently than women. Kasi sila siguro mga 3 to 4 times a week. Tayo, mga at least once a month. So, meron naman mga babae na masturbate din once a week, twice a week. Depende siguro on the circumstance. But masturbation is normal.
And yet we don't hear people talking about it, right?
Kasi nga, it's surrounded with shame and with that taboo.
Would you say na yung burden ng guilt ay mas malaki sa mga babae as opposed sa mga lalaki?
Oo naman. Kasi, 'di ba, tayo yung dapat chaste. Tayo yung dapat yung pure. Tayo yung mag-guard sa ating katawan. Because we're supposed to be dalagang Pilipina, Maria Clara. Yung ganong image. So, nasa atin yung burden na parang hindi mo pwedeng alamin kung ano yung sexual side mo. Kasi pag inalam mo yung sexual side mo, maduming babae ka na. Which is not true talaga. And it can actually extend to our private areas. 'Di ba pag pinag-usapan natin yung vulva and vagina, ang iniisip ng mga tao, madumi. Kasi yun yung kinoconnect nila. When we were in high school, kung may sex ed man tayo, ano yung sinasabi nila is the most effective way to avoid sexually transmitted infections or unwanted pregnancies? Abstinence is the best way. But actually, it's not. It's masturbation. When you say you abstain, you're not exploring that sexual part of yourself. You're denying that sexual part of yourself. But if it's masturbation, you're just playing with yourself. Wala kang risk of transmitting STIs. Wala ka rin risk mabuntis. But you're still exploring that sexual side.
That makes so much sense, Dr. Rika.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much for that.
But yes, a lot of people don't know that because we don't talk about it. And we're taught otherwise. Other benefits of masturbation is sometimes when you just want a quick fix, you're able to orgasm faster when you stimulate yourself because you know your body as opposed to when you're with a partner. Kasi may mga partners na hindi nila alam kung ano ginagawa nila, diba? For you to be pleasured, dapat alam mo rin, you know what feels good for you. And when you're alone, you can set the mood, merong fewer cognitive distractions, hindi mo na iniisip yung kasama mo, na parang ano ba itong ginagawa niya? O parang ano bang itsura ng mukha ko? O parang ang pangit ko ba? Ganon. O ang tagal na nito. Wala ka nang iniisip kasi mag-isa ka lang.
Right. So parang it takes the pressure off, no?
Yes. So So, of course, after talking about the guilt and the shame that surrounds masturbation, we can't have a discussion on it without talking about how to do it well. Siyempre, iba-iba yung ways natin, no, to masturbate. So, however you make yourself come, it's the right way to come. We're just sharing some tips and tricks that work according to research and, of course, experience. So, Christine, what do you find works for you?
It's actually difficult for me to get in the mood. So I would watch porn to stimulate my mind.
How about you, Trisha?
So there's this website that I really love. It's belesa.co. Female-centric talaga yung porn nila doon. Minsan may mga storya pa, tapos may pagka-artsy, tapos yung mga categories nila, mga tipong sensual or passionate. Hindi yung mga words na typically ina-associate natin with porn. Tapos, meron din dong mga very graphic na erotic stories. So, kung ayaw mong manood, magbasa ka na lang. Tapos, ikaw na bahala mag-create ng scenarios in your mind. Kaya ko rin gusto yung website na yan kasi meron din silang mga articles. So, they actually interview experts about sex. And I'm pretty sure makakahanap ka rin doon ng tips para i-improve yung sex life mo.
That's the thing, no, Trisha. The materials about sex are all male-centric. So whatever we know as females about sex are centered about what men want and not really about what females want. And of course, we have different needs. So I think we need to have more resources for that, right, Doc Rica?
Totoo. And for us to be able to do that, we have to talk about it more. We have to really have women to come out and say what they want para hindi male-centric yung mga pinapapanood sa atin. You did say, Trisha, a while ago na meron kang mga erotica na binabasa. And that actually works for me. There's a website that I've been going to since I was 13, I guess. Literotica.com. And I love their stories. Iba-iba siya. Depende sa iyong fantasy.
And since we're doing a podcast, meron ding mga podcast ngayon na they read erotic stories. So, kung gusto mo naman ng audio
Stimulation.
yes, ganyan. Tapos, meron din akong nakita na sa Tumblr na just people recording themselves and the sounds that they make.
Meron din mga website actually na nagpo-promote how to orgasm and you take a photo of yourself when you orgasm. If you get aroused with that, then go ahead. Look at those things. For a lot of women, according to studies, it's really erotica. So, stories they imagine as opposed to just porn na pinapanood. Mas gusto nila yung nagpa-fantasize. So, iba-ibang fantasies in their minds. Ang ganda ng smile mo. Ano yung pinapagpantasyahan mo dyan?
Naisip ko lang yung mga porn categories that I frequent.
What
And the
works for you?
stories. Actually, what I found interesting is your fantasy, what you want the other person to do to you, yun yung hinahanap mo eh. Like, for example, if you want the other person to eat you out and to suck your tits, ganon, di ba? So, that's the kinds of stories that you would really want to read to arouse you.
Totoo, because whenever I read those stories, tapos kapag nandun na sa area na yon, yun na yung kwento, nag-orgasm na ako. Done!
Tsaka iba talaga kapag babae yung nagsusulat, Iba kapag babae yung nagka-create ng content na yon.
Kasi alam nila kung saan ka nang gagaling. Kaya mas madali ka rin maa-arouse.
Are there actual techniques that you can recommend?
Mag-start muna tayo sa inyo. Anong ginagawa niyo when you masturbate? Do you use other things? Like, I remember growing up, I would use different things. The bidet, the shower. Meron pang one time the brush.
Hairbrush?
Hairbrush. Yung handle.
The handle lang naman.
You can use anything.
Mhm.
Just make sure it's clean and then that you can get it out.
Yeah.
Kasi ayaw natin maging laman ng ER.
Ayaw natin ng accident, yeah. For me, I use the bidet also. I find that nice. Because you're also clean after. You're not making a mess. Mostly, it's just my hands in the bed. But it's important not to have any distractions. Mostly, it's lying on your back. But sometimes, face down also. How about you, Trisha?
I love my fingers. So, fingertips talaga. Pwede siyang maging mas exciting kapag in-alternate mo yung slow, tapos biglang fast, tapos just stimulating the clit. I just get a really good fantasy running in my head and then just touch myself down there.
Sometimes kasi kapag yung fingers lang, nakakapagod. So, for women, pwede rin tayong gumamit ng vibrators, ng toys, which will do the work for us. What else? Lube. Kapag gumamit ka ng lube, mas hindi masakit yung sensation, di ba? Kasi kapag may lube, mas soft and smooth yung stimulation on the clitoris. And even if you like your vagina to be penetrated, so mas smooth din yung pagpasok nung brush handle.
Okay. Noted on that.
If you're really just down to the basics and fingers lang talaga yung gusto mo, there are different techniques we can play with. One way is using your fingertips. You lightly tap your pubic bone above the clitoris and you wake up that vulva for its inner desires. May mararamdaman ka na nun eh. Masistimulate ka, may makukuryente ka ng and then you can press it down and rub it in circles and then work your way down to the clitoris, to the labia. And if you want to be penetrated, you use your fingers as well. There's also another technique. You make a peace sign with your index finger and your middle finger. And then you place each finger on either side of the outer labia, the lips. Press down lightly and then you wiggle your fingers towards each other. So parang iniipit mo yung labia together with the clitoris. And then, ano pa ba? You slowly pull the hood of the clitoris back. And then, you gently stroke the head of the clitoris, the pearl. Diba? Kapag mas moist kasi kapag lubricated, hindi siya masakit yung friction na nagagawa ng fingers mo. So, you'll be more aroused.
Question, do you need to be aroused to masturbate?
For us women, desire is not enough for us to engage in sex or to masturbate. Yung sexual response cycle natin, arousal muna. So, kailangan ma-arouse muna tayo bago natin gustuhin to masturbate. And it's very important for us to know how we'll get ourselves to be aroused. Like, kung meron kang mga erotic ang binabasa, your romance novels, meron kang certain scent na nagpapa-arouse sa'yo, you need that before you can desire to masturbate or to want to have sex.
But how do you know that you're aroused?
Aside from the cognitive factor, arousal is more on the body. So, kapag nararamdaman nyo na yung tingling feeling in the body, parang kang kinokuryente, parang ka bang nababasa, the lubrication.
How do you set the mood for that?
That's one of the things that I actually also want more women to know, to embrace how they can make themselves aroused. Kasi iba-iba yan eh. Subjective yan eh. As well with me, sometimes I run myself a bath or I lock the doors. Just the simple notion of locking the doors. Parang meron na siyang, okay, sexy time na to. Sexy time with myself. So, depende yan sa mga babae kung anong gusto nila. And that's one of the things that you need to learn to know yourself better. Find ways in which you can arouse yourself.
So that's also something that as females should not hinder ourselves to do.
Yeah, you shouldn't be scared of that because
Right.
that's you. Wala namang ibang tao doon eh. Ikaw lang naman yan eh. So, you explore yourself. You explore who you are as a sexual being. The first step is knowing what would arouse you.
Kasi parang when you start thinking about it, you immediately think na it's already dirty or immoral, diba? Even thinking about it feels like taboo, right?
Normal lang and natural to have these lustful thoughts, to have these fantasies. Diba? We need those thoughts, we need those fantasies for us to have sex and to reproduce. So, part talaga siya ng ating sexual functioning. So, okay lang. And that's it. Thank you, Christine, for joining us. Where can our listeners follow you?
So, I actually have a wedding coordination business. So, for those of you who subscribe to that tradition, you can go to my Facebook page, Synchronicity Events PH. Yeah, we also have Instagram account, so Sync, SYNC Events PH.
And thank you for joining us, Trisha.
Thank you so much, Doc Rica. Thank you so much, Christine. I learned a lot and I had a lot of fun.
And that was this episode of Conservative Ako. In the next episode, we'll talk about oral sex. What are women's experiences in giving and receiving oral sex? And did you know that you should still be protected kapag nakikipagtsupaan at nakikipagbrotsahan kayo? To make sure you don't miss it, subscribe to Conservative Ako on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platforms. And let's continue the conversation about female sexuality and pleasure online. Follow me at _Rika Cruz on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook, it's Rika Cruz and at The Sexy Mind for articles and bits and pieces about sex. This episode was produced by Trisha Aquino and edited by Nina Torralba of PumaPodcast. We hope you learned something new today about masturbation and about how you can embrace your inner sexy goddesses and practice your sexual agency. Sending love and lust your way, and thank you for keeping an open and sexy mind. This is Rika Cruz. Goodbye!